Hi, welcome to ODE YouTube channel. Today I'm going to open the day 6 of the Inkvent calendar and let's see which is the ink that is inside this little window. Here it is a red one. Let me take this out and show it to you. This ink has a very interesting name. It is called Ho 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 and it is a standard ink. And as far as I can tell by the label, it will be a red ink. So I will put this inside a pen and I will test it and then I will show you what I think about it. So I will stop now and I'll be back in a few moments. And back again with ink number 6. And this ink has a quite interesting name, the Ho Ho Ho. So really nice. And you have here the ink. It is a red ink. Not much more to say about it. And if this is a mention to Santa Claus because of the Ho Ho Ho, yes, I think it may match that. Then, today, for the pen, I don't have a match. I use this Karas K pen with a B nib. So, this is what I'm going to use. It is made of aluminum and Delrin material. So, interesting. And about the color, the chromatography. Sorry, I was forgetting the name. We have here the Diamine Inkvent calendar number 6. Ho ho ho, and you can see it has no water resistance at all, nothing. There is not a hint of the line that I drew on paper first, and then it goes all the way and it's there. So there's no resistance, that's why the ink doesn't get accumulated here on the bottom and it goes all the way. And if the paper was longer, it would go always up until all the ink was until the paper could absorb it. Now I want to show it this next to other reds that I have. I have here the Montegrappa red and also the Pelikan Edelstein. When I showed you the candy cane color, I said these were very similar, and these are all inks that have some magenta or pinkish tone to it. This one has not. It's a true red ink, a bright red, and I like that characteristic, not the magenta thing. And just to show you, I have here the candy cane that I'll put next to the Ho Ho Ho. And you may see that sometimes you think all the reds are the same. No, I would say that we have here 3 reds that are almost the same, and this one is clearly out of this league. This is a different red, it is a true red, and if it has to match the color of the Santa Claus clothing, I think it will. So, nice color and not similar at all with the previous red on the Inkvent calendar. Now, let's see the papers, how it performs. Now, this is not always a fair comparison because I'm using nibs from all over the brand range I have and the width that I have. And I've used fine and medium nibs, and this one is a broad, so it's difficult to compare, but I don't care. I think it's interesting because you are not always using the same ink. This is not like a versus that I'm showing, I'm just making a review. The conditions are not always the same. If someday I'll put 2 against 2, maybe I will have to use the same nib brand and width. And now you can see here that it is a very plain ink. There is the line is quite thick, obviously, there is no shading on it. It's very plain. That's not that interesting in this pen. It could have a little bit more of depth if it had this kind of shading. It doesn't. And it spreads over some fibers of the paper, and I'll try to show you there. You see there are some lines going up from that letter, and here on this A there is also upward letter, and the question mark also a downward line, which is where the fibers of the paper caught the ink and the ink was there. So I can't blame this all on the ink. The paper has some responsibility in it also. Here you can see some bleed through. It's not just the ghosting, it's really a bleed through. And then we have the Oxford optic paper, and here you can see quite the difference. And the ink looks much more interesting here. It looks much more saturated on the Oxford, which is a brighter white paper. I like it better here, and you can also see a little bit of shading. And when you use the regular copy paper, it doesn't look as interesting as on the Oxford, but it's quite decent. I would say that the only one who had some trouble keeping up with the ink is the Moleskine paper, but we already know that by default. And here we have the Rhodia dot pad, and the drying time of this ink is terribly slow or terribly long, so you have to wait for a long time to put your fingers on the ink. And here, where some water drops went, the ink disappeared completely. So this is not a water resistant ink at all. There's nothing on it that is resistant to water. And now let's see the writing sample in this paper with the famous phrase. Sorry, the pen skipped there. And here you have it. This is how the ink looks on paper when it is freshly laid down, and you see quite a broad line, but this is a responsibility of the nib. And here you can also see the ink going through some of the fibers of the paper. You can see that those lines there, those reddish lines going from the letters to the rest of the paper. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please tell me what you think about this ink, if Diamine should include it in the regular lineup, and if there is currently on the market any other ink that is similar to this one from Diamine or any other. So just let me know to keep the discussion open, because I think this is quite interesting to talk around inks. See you tomorrow. Bye.